I'm going to get this out of the way now. I think Sifu is a bad game. It's not that it looks bad or necessarily plays bad, it simply has one Achilles heel that ruins the entire experience. Difficulty. Now, before I'm drowned out with shouts of "get good, noob," there's something you need to know about Sifu. It's not a game where difficulty is thoughtfully applied and grows as the player's skills expand. No, it's more like the kind of game you'd find at a casino way off the Vegas Strip, more rigged than a third world election. Enemies will randomly become superpowered, unblockable, and unhittable. Bosses are even worse, with massive health bars and very limited windows to attack. Even if you block and parry perfectly, you will still die over and over and over again. This is what I'll call broken difficulty, which is a shame because it's been a while since we had a decent Kung Fu game. Many of us grew up playing Streets of Rage or Double Dragon, and the brawler genre hasn't had a hit title in a long time. Let me be clear though that every game walks a fine balance between fun and challenge. If there wasn't some risk of failure, your brain would not produce that sweet dopamine once you've accomplished a goal. But even when you do advance in Sifu, it's not "yay, I did it," it's more "thank God that's over." And what's so baffling about this is it didn't need to be this way. Why not have adjustable difficulty and let players ramp up the challenge at their own pace? The Sifu developers have copied Dark Souls here and not allowed players to change the difficulty. There's only one, and it's as hard as passing a golf ball-sized kidney stone. Again, when I say hard, I don't mean hard in the sense of challenging. I played the game for 15 hours for this review, and despite all that time fighting Chinese gangsters and unlocking the skill tree, I still wasn't able to last even 30 seconds against the game's second boss. The fighting in Sifu all depends on correctly timing parries and dodges, but even these won't save you from an enemy launching a brick or bottle at your face with laser-guided precision. Even if you do perfectly dance around enemies, they'll still be able to deal damage to you, and no matter how much you try, the game's difficulty will seemingly at random spike to slap you back down for the sake of creating the illusion of a challenge. This creates something of a strange problem because it seems as you do start to beat enemies faster and faster, the game seems almost wise to your butt kicking and drops a spike strip in front of you in the form of a superpowered enemy. With startling regularity, I would dispatch a crowd of baddies, and like clockwork, one would start glowing gold like a goddamn Super Saiyan, and then fold, press, and dry clean my ass. And just as I was starting to feel like I had a handle on things. Being foiled like this doesn't make the game feel challenging, it feels like I'm being trolled. The developers clearly have not put a lot of thought into what makes a hard game good, and usually the secret sauce is in making it at least possible for the player to win with effort. I've never said, "that was some bullshit," after dying while playing a game more in my life, and I grew up playing Counter-Strike at LAN Arcade at the mall. Sifu looks very good, has very good animations and music, the story is probably good, but I wouldn't know thanks to that impossible to beat second boss. There are other things though besides broken difficulty that make this game a hard pass. One is the onboarding. In short, there is none. You get a very brief combat tutorial, but little to no explanation on how upgrading works. There are two menus that are very important, the one at Shrines and at your skill tree. Shrines will cough up a reward based on your performance. Hit the magic number and you can buy a certain upgrade that will stay with you for your current run. I say run for a very specific reason, but more on that in just a second. In the skill tree, there are skills you can unlock, but then need to dump 5 times the purchasing cost to permanently unlock. This is where your run comes into play. You see, in Sifu, you only have one life to live over all the levels. Every time you die, you age, and if you run out of charms on your magic aging bracelet, it is game over. Dying also accrues interest, so die more than once and you'll lose 2 years, then 4, then 6, and so on if you don't reset your death counter. So one part of the game is just grinding the first mission over and over until you've permanently unlocked enough skills, and the rest is making surgically precise choices at shrines to pick the right bonuses to help you in the challenge ahead. It's like a Kung Fu Groundhog Day. This is of course an issue because you have no idea what challenge is ahead in the next level, so investing in either weapon damage or health or recovery is completely trial and error. None of this is explained whatsoever, and players are left to flounder around without any help until they can figure it out for themselves. You also don't get your age reset after beating a boss, which for the life of me, I can't understand. And it means if you get too old to make it through a level, it's right back to the previous level, which you have to beat again at the lowest age possible to get the chance to hack your way through the next one. The expectation that you play through every level perfectly is about as welcome as a root canal. I honestly can't expect people to pay $40 for this. The game only has 5 levels and I spent 15 hours just playing 2 of them. I don't know what the developers were thinking doing this. They could have sold the game for $30, made the difficulty at least reasonable, and brought in a decent amount of sales. In its current broken state, however, the game is going to stumble so badly out of the gate. I predict this one being a loss for the developers. They set their sights on being the next Dark Souls and missed. Badly. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like hard games, I do. I grinded my way through Cuphead, and I kicked off my first run of Halo Infinite on Legendary, but both of those are difficult without being impossible. The hoops you have to jump through and the artificial bullshit they put in Sifu to stretch out the playtime, having to pay 5 times the skill cost to permanently unlock abilities, that makes this game feel about as authentic as a Rolex you bought at the gas station. Modern games cost a ton of money to make, so to maximize budget versus profit, having players experience the same assets over and over again is the formula some developers are trying. And just look at Rainbow Six Extraction or Far Cry 6 with their copied and pasted assets from previous, better games. On paper, it looks like an elegant way to cut costs and make a few bucks. In reality, it's a dumpster fire where fun goes to die. Don't buy Sifu.